you know how many games Dennis Allen coached Derek Carr?
Well, the football got buried pretty early in that season, so I'm pretty sure it was 0-4.
4. You're correct. But here's what I think is relevant. They did not draft Derek Carr to be their starting quarterback, the Raiders, back in 2014. They signed Matt Schaub to a contract of $8 million guaranteed. It was a significant commitment to noodle-armed Matt Schaub at the time, whose arm somehow got stronger again when he left the Raiders. Not that strong, but...
Guy, I would have bet my life savings, which at the time in 14 was not very high, that Matt Schaub would have been out of the league the next year. I'm pretty sure he played for like 6 more seasons.
But no one else signed him to be their starting quarterback was the difference. That's what the Raiders did.
But he did somehow bank like $8 more million over the course.
But once upon a time, Dennis Allen made the decision not to go with Matt Schaub and to go with this rookie quarterback. So maybe there is some long-standing kind of desire there, some connection between Dennis and Derek. But anyway, that was the news of the last couple of days that Derek is visiting the Saints.
Wouldn't you say that Derek in a dome would make a lot of sense?
Yeah.
Derek
in a dome, I think would make sense.
I wonder if, part of the Saints just want to get aggressive just so they have him, because there does feel like some of those teams in the South, Tampa needs a quarterback. They have one quarterback on the roster, Kyle Trask. I would imagine Frank, religious guy, this is he's had a lot of like older veterans. Derek, to me, 32 years old or 31 years old, 33 years old is much more. You feel you get 4 or 5 years playing. I would be shocked if the Carolina Panthers weren't interested. Like, to me, if he does play this out where he's cool with like getting cut, I think all 3 of those teams are kind of bidding for his services. And when you factor in weather, I think they all kind of make some sense, don't you? Not cold places. If I was a betting man, I would throw like $1,000. If you told me he's cut, he ends up in the South.
Do you think there's any hesitation to play for the Texans, given what happened with Dave? Or is it 20 years ago and it doesn't matter anymore? Because to me, the only hesitation is, will the fans, A, you might just not like the organization, but B, you might be afraid of being unfairly criticized as if like all of the David Carr criticism, you pick up where that left off. But I think the D'Amico era actually makes it a pretty fresh start if Derek were to go there. The problem is they're just not set up to be a great team, a good team right now, whereas the Saints actually, I think you'd be better off going there from a just let's try and win in 2023 standpoint.
But haven't we seen enough of what? The Texans had the number 2 overall pick. When Andy got the job with the Chiefs, they had the number 1 overall pick. Like, couldn't you just say, if he had free agency, we give him 3 years, $60 million, 40 guaranteed, and we just if they instead of the Houston Texans, like they were in the same situation, but were the Arizona Cardinals, wouldn't you be like, I bet they'd be aggressive to try to get Derek? No one wants to suck in the NFL.
Yeah, so we're listing a lot of reasons for him not to accept any trade and just be a free agent and let these teams try and figure it out with him.
Their family is, I would say uniquely close, the brothers, just given that they all share the same, like him and his brother play football in the NFL. It's like one thing, all of our families can be relatively close, but my brother's a farmer. Like, I'm a podcaster, you do this, your sister does this, your one brother's in finance. When you're both, like, you do share a commonality that, like, that's got to strengthen the bond to kind of another level. Like, we both played in the NFL at quarterback.
I wonder if we asked Derek, are your memories of Houston good or bad? Tough for his brother, but it had to be an awesome time for him, right? Running around playing catch with Andre Johnson.
When I got hired in Fresno, they had just moved back to Bakersfield. I remember, do you remember when Derek committed to Jim McElwain? I'm pretty sure he was still playing like his sophomore year in Texas.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't think he played all 3 years at Bakersfield Christian. If I remember correctly, it might have just been his senior year, but at most his junior and senior year. So the family moved out there. But like you said, what does D'Amico and Nick Caserio have to do with 04 with the Texans, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the question would just be, how did you... It's the son of the owner, right? Cal McNair, Bob McNair was the owner then. So did you feel like it was a good organization? Anyway, we're listing a lot of teams that Why would Derek allow the Raiders to trade him at this point?
Yeah, I would expect him. I mean, he's got 6
Like, he can
days.
the Saints can just be like, "Hey, bro, here's what we'll pay you if you don't make us trade a third for you or a fourth." Or are they? I don't even know. Are you getting a third at this point, given that he doesn't have to accept anything?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he can be like, "Guys, don't trade a third for me. If they trade a seventh, okay, a fifth."